Okay, in this question we are asked to find the volume generated when the shaded region is generated 360 degrees about the x-axis. So the strategy I'm using here, there are more than one ways to do this, but strategy I'm using here is actually, so you know that to find the volume of a shaded region, let's say it's rotated around the x-axis. Alright, the formula is actually this. So with the limit, the lower limit to the upper limit, and the equation and dx, this would be in terms of the y square, and y square would be expressed in, let's say if there is two graphs. So for example, the graph further away from the axis minus away the graph nearer to the axis would give me that. So you would give me the, let's say this is the graph further away from the axis minus away the square of the graph nearer to the axis, and dx. That would be the volume of the solid generated when rotated 360 degrees about the x-axis from let's say a point A to a point B. That will give me that. So because volume of solid is always positive, you could, if you do not want to bother about whether is this graph minus this graph or this graph minus this graph, you could put a modulus on the entire thing. Okay, so so here we to get this region first. So the idea is I would try to find this region in blue. What happens when what is the volume generated when this region in blue is rotated 360 degrees about the x-axis. You want to find that, and this point, the intersection point of this line and this curve is at 4. Okay, you can solve simultaneous equation to find this point of intersection. Anyway, so then therefore I'm integrating from 3 to 4. From 3 to 4, and I'm taking the equation of this graph. Okay, the equation of this is actually just one single graph with this equation, but there are two parts to it. Let's say if you square root this, you get a plus minus and part of it, and of course this part is a 5 minus 5 minus something. That's what this is part of the graph. So I'll take this minus away this. So I'll take the square of this graph here minus away the square of this graph here. Okay, and why is it that I'm taking, actually this in fact is minus square root x minus 3 plus minus 5, sorry. So this in fact is inside was originally this, so I'm taking this graph minus away the graph so on top, but because it is a square, I could just change this to a plus sign. Okay, because minus 1 square is just, if I factorize out minus 1 and square it is just 1, so it's the same as integrating this. So and minus away the square of this, so and then put a pi. It's just the equation I have, I mean the method I have over here for finding volume of solid generated. So similarly from 4 to 7, I would take the graph of the line, the equation of the line. I will square it, right, minus away the equation of this line. Okay, and the square minus away the square of the equation of this line over here. So I'll have this from 4 to 7, and when I add them up, I would get this 127 units cube. So this is then I would do this step by step. So this integration at this part is pretty straightforward. I just expanded them out, and then it simplifies to expanded out for this part. Okay, for this one I expanded out fully, and it simplifies to this, and then I just apply integration to get this, and then I substitute the values inside to get this. So it's pretty straightforward. And but when I try to integrate this part, it also simplifies to something like this, and I try to integrate, and I will get to this and this. So it is not very difficult if you were to integrate. Okay, if you simplify this, you get to this, and when you integrate, this half becomes 3/2. 3/2 and need to divide it by 3/2, so becomes multiply by 2/3, right? And then after that I substitute this 4 inside. 4 minus 3 is 1, so 1 to the power n thing is still 1, so 2/3 here. So this is my first term, and minus away, but the second term is 3 minus 3 is 0, so the whole thing becomes 0. So therefore this term simplifies to this only. Okay, then for this question I'm done. So when I multiply the pi and all this, I get to 127. That's my final answer. So that's just for this question. If you have any question on this question, feel free to email or drop me a question on WhatsApp 81808611. Yep, 65. Okay, thank you.